Myles, we're here in the eastern end of the Walla Walla Valley. We're going to taste some Sangiovese today, and that's kind of an unusual grape for Washington. I guess it's catching on, but tell me a little bit about your history with it here in Washington.
Well, we've been making Sangiovese since 1999, and we have a small client group that just loves our Sangiovese. We make it a little bit super Tuscan-like. We usually add a little bit of either Cabernet or, in recent years, it's been Syrah and Malbec. And we develop a style which we think really works very well for us. And it's a food-friendly wine, and we really like doing Sangiovese. In our new vineyard, which is where we are at the present time, we have 2 acres of Sangiovese.
Is that your primary source of fruit then?
Well, it'll become our primary source over time, yes, as this vineyard develops.
And what are some of your other sources?
Our other sources are Cayenne in Red Mountain, and Desert View, which is in West Pasco, and we also get some here from Dwelly in Walla Walla. So those are our 3 sources of Sangio at the present time. And we'll have a 4th one coming up this year.
Tell me a little bit. How would you describe Sangiovese compared with, say, Syrah or Cabernet or Merlot?
Well, it's a lighter wine. It has a tad more acid, and it is one in which we make principally to go with food. So it's not something that you would sit on the back patio and drink by itself. It requires a little bit of food, I think.
And what kind of food do you recommend with Sangio?
Well, we like Mediterranean food, and particularly pastas with red sauces or white sauces go really well. And surprisingly, we have found that it goes well with also some things that swim.
Really?
Yes, it does. Particularly fatty Northwest Alaska salmon.
How much Sangiovese do you produce?
We only produce about 700 cases a year. It's a small amount, but it's just the right amount for our customer base.
And how long have you been making this?
10 years. Well, no, I'm fibbing. We've made it for 11 years, but we're tasting today 10 from bottle.
Okay. And tell me a little bit about the history of Sangiovese. I know it comes from Italy originally.
Yeah. It comes from Florence, Italy. That's really the native origin spot for it. And there are over 300 clones of Sangiovese in Italy. And it is a grape that the peasants really love because the plant wants to produce a huge amount. And that really works well for Italians because they're able to get an abundant amount of grapes from each plant. The 2 acres that we have here, eventually, it will want to produce about 12 tons per acre. The plant just wants to push it that much, but we cut it back to the point where it's about 3.5 to 4 tons per acre. And but the plant itself is very vigorous, and it wants to produce a very, very abundant amount of wine. And the Italians knew that for a long, long time, and they get an enormous amount of fruit from their vineyards.
Now, I think when we think of Sangiovese, we often think of Chianti and the old straw-covered bottles. Is that really the what Sangiovese is today, either in the New World or Old World?
No, the New World makes a different kind of Sangiovese, and it's rounder, it's fruitier, it has a lot of middle as well as a beginning and an ending. Many of those old ones in the old fiasco bottles, they're called fiascos, were thin, not very much body, and didn't last very long, didn't age well. And fortunately, our wines here age well. We didn't think they would age as long as they have and as well as they have over the years, but I think our tasting today will let all of us know just how well they last. They're age-worthy.
Now, Sangiovese has been grown in California for many years, and in Washington probably for the last, 15 years or so?
Yeah, right.
Okay. And how do you think these New World wines compare with other regions?
Well, In some cases, they don't really compare at all because they're so different, and they have their own definition because they're in Washington or in Walla Walla, as opposed to Tuscany or Florence, Italy, or Cosenza in southern Italy. They're all very, very different. But the thing that I've discovered over the years is that the Sangiovese has that leather saddle flavor, and we don't oak our Sangiovese here at all. We don't put new oak on it. It's old oak. We just use the barrels as really a vessel to age them in, and so we don't put very much oak on them at all.
Well, Myles, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Andy.